What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of GuerrainDawn. I'm your host, John Guerra. Before we get into the episode today, I want to talk about something I really care about, your mental health. Let's talk about BetterHelp, an online platform that connects individuals with licensed therapists for online therapy sessions. It makes it a more convenient and easy to access way to just improve your mental health. You could do it through video calls, you could do it through text message, you could do it through a regular call. It's whatever is more convenient for you. Instead of you going out there, I know sometimes it just seems impossible to find someone to just talk to. And you could have these situations where you could text this person, you could get that help you want from someone that is licensed to do so. Please, guys, take care of yourselves. And to take care of yourself with your job life, to take care of yourself with your physical life, you first got to take care of yourself mentally. So please, guys, if this is something that you need or that you know someone needs, get out to them, show it out to them. Better help. Let's get straight into the episode, guys.
And I can't go on, I can't go on like this, just dwelling on it used to be. I can fix these halls and patch these walls, but there's no patching. Let's get straight into the episode, guys.
What is going on, people? We are back. We're here. We are here. Hope y'all are having a good day. It is Sunday, the 17th of August. I'm going to get a little silly this week. So it's going to be episode Monday, episode Wednesday, episode Friday. And this is the whole lead up because then I start college the week after. So it's like me just like, giving y'all some love, giving y'all some quick love before we get college started. Because then it's like, I may not have an episode the week after. And I know what you're saying, John, just record the episodes ahead of time and post them while they go. I would want to do that, but then I feel like I'm behind on what I'm talking about, because then it's like what I'm saying doesn't matter anymore. Like the episodes this week, they're all about stuff that happened last week. So it's like, I could only push it for so long. Like I did the whole thing where I recorded episodes like 2 months in advance. And then it's like, by the time I post the episodes, the topics we're talking about are things that, aren't really as important now. They were a bigger thing while it was happening. And it's just, I don't like that. I want to talk about things that are happening right now. I want to talk about things that matter to people right now. I don't want to be posting things and it's like, it's not even really a thing in the world anymore, So that's just my thought process on it. I don't know. Things are getting real busy. But before we get going, let's talk about some of the topics happening here in the world. Let's see what's going on. Some news stories today. A bird dropped a fish on a power line and sparked a bushfire in Canada. That's what the firefighters say. That sounds like a planned attack, if you ask me. That sounds like it's straight out of that movie. What was that movie? Was it Valiant? All right, let's go. Let's check this out. Yeah, Valiant. I believe that's what it's called. The military bird movie. I believe it was based off of World War II, and it's an animated movie in 2005, and it is basically World War II, and it's a bird that enlists in the Air Force, but the Air Force is literally birds. I remember that, and I forgot what it was. That was kind of scary, There'll be like birds in the sky, and then like a falcon. The falcons were like the Germans, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I might be wrong, but that's what I remember. I haven't seen this movie since I was little, but yeah, that sounds like a straight attack. The birds were planning something. They're planning to let that fire. Things like that don't just happen. Someone's planning it, or maybe someone like whispered to the bird, "Hey, I'll give you some extra bird seeds if you go light this farmer's got land on fire." That makes more sense. Maybe it was hunting season and the bird was like, you can't shoot me if you have no land. So yeah. Next topic. Let's keep moving. Let's go to something else here. Let's see what else is happening in the world, baby. Let's see what else is happening here. Oh, look at this. Oh, clicked on something else. A library book was returned 82 years late. The borrower's family left a note trying to explain, saying that my grandma can't pay for this anymore. I wonder why the grandma can't pay for it. Is she not with us anymore? I kind of imagine that's the reason. I don't know. 82 years late for a library book. Is it really? Are we even charging at that point? What is the bill looking like on that? I don't even know. I think I was late on a few library books, but I don't even remember. I was too young. I didn't pay for it. It didn't come out of my pocket. But fun fact, I was actually late on like 3 books, and they were like 4 years late when I was in high school. Before I graduated, you had to have turned everything in, or you had to pay the fine. But there was a little bit of a loophole for me because I had my backpack stolen while I was at or not at a party my senior year. No further comment on that. But my backpack was stolen. It was taken out of my car, and my computer was in it, and so were those books, is what I say. Those books were in my backpack from 4 years ago. Somehow I still carried my freshman books in my senior backpack. That's what I told him. That's what I told the librarian. Cleared all my fees. Cleared them all. I didn't have to pay anything. Anything that was in my name that I never returned, I told him was in that backpack, which it was. No, there's no way of knowing. No way of knowing. But to this day, I never had to pay it. It was $100 because for some reason, a history book is worth $200. What am I supposed to do with that? Anyways, going forward, I believe that's enough for the topics today. We've talked about enough happening in the world. I started my coaching. Coaching's real interesting right now. It's going, baby. It's moving, and it's moving hard. I'm just not used to yelling at kids like that yet. I'm not used to being that assertive guy. We have a lot of coaches. We have a lot of coaches, and it's a lot different from my one location, because my first location I was at in 2024, it was just me and another coach basically, and then we had the main overseer, the director. But you don't really count them as a coach because they're not really handling the kids that much. And it was interesting because then we would have, at this new location, we have 7 coaches. So it's 2, 3. We'll count the director as 3 compared to 7. It just feels like I don't have a role when I'm there, and that's being honest. Like, I've even told them, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm kind of talking to the kids, I'm having my moments, but I think because it's like I don't have a group. Like, I don't have a lot of people just to me. I'm having with all these people. I'm just not used to it. I'm not saying I'm not used to sharing. I'm not saying that. I'm not being selfish here, but it's like it's easier when you have a specific group of people assigned to you. It makes it a lot easier for you. But yeah, that's just a thought I've been having lately. But I don't know. I think they might move me to another campus. That's what I'm feeling. That's something my mind's telling me, and I can sense it happening. Hopefully not, because in the aspect of college, it would be a lot harder because I'm going to be going from school to work every single day of the week. That is going to be my schedule. I'm going to be working. I'm going to be going to school in the morning. Not too long. I'm going to school like at 12. So in the morning, but in the afternoon, from 12 to 3, I will be at school. And then from 3 to 6, I will be at work. So yeah, that's my whole thing. The podcast, like this whole thing, I plan on doing this in the morning. Maybe you'll get a little podcast at night every now and then. I don't know. The whole guest thing, it's going to be really hard for me to get guests, guys. That's just like the honest truth of it right now. During the summer, it was so easy. I was able to get so many people because it was just like I had a lot of time. I had a lot of time on my hands. But now it's like everything's going to be to the wall. Weekends, I'm free. But at the end of the day, it's hard because then it's like that's their weekend too. They worked all week. They have a free weekend. And, some of them have families. Some of them have people to hang out with. Some of them have people to see, And luckily for me, I'm still young, I'm still a young guy. And yeah. No, I don't have a family yet. I don't have, I'm not working 50 hours a week. A lot of my stuff is on my own time. A lot of my stuff is self-scheduled. I schedule a lot of things for myself. Dang, I'm looking skinny. I'm looking really skinny. I've been doing a lot of calisthenics. I know it's hard because this is a little smaller on me. I mean, this is a bigger shirt on me. I like this shirt though. But, yeah, I threw myself off topic with that. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, so it's gonna be hard, but at the end of the day, I love doing episodes by myself too. I think it's like really good for me just to talk to y'all. I enjoy talking to y'all. I enjoy just learning about y'all. Something interesting is I learned recently that a lot of people don't talk to themselves. And I used to think that it was crazy to have a conversation with yourself, that like you're going a little local when you talk to yourself. But You know, I just feel like it's something you just do. Like you have like conversations with yourself because someone told me that when you have a lot of conversations with yourself, it's because you feel like that you were never able to like share your feelings with other people, or like you're not really like you were never really like opening your emotions to other people. So it's like you do it to yourself. And it's weird because sometimes when I'm talking, it feels like I have like so many people in my head that like are just like sitting down, just like having a conversation with each other. You know, like they got some coffee and they're just like chatting it up. And you know, it could sound crazy from a other perspective, but I feel like other people feel that way too, or not, or not. I don't want to speak for other people, but for me, like I feel like my mind is a whole bunch of people that come together that like have like a job. Like you ever seen that scene from SpongeBob where it's like they're all working together, and he's like, oh, I have a family. No, he's like about to fire him, just like on his knees. That's kind of what my mind is, but it's not. I'm not gonna say I'm panicking as much. I think it's just more, sometimes the mind just works a little harder. Like, all my little SpongeBobs had to work harder, or Johns at this point. Imagine that, like a whole bunch of little versions of yourselves in your head, just like working on stuff, and they all had like different stories. That'd be pretty hilarious. But yeah, that that's how I see my mind. They all get up, they all get some coffee together, like just like holding their coffees, talking about their day. How's the wife? Oh no, not that good. The wife's not with me anymore. I live alone. Or maybe we just got married and everything's going great. I don't know. But that's how I see my mind sometimes. I see my mind as like just SpongeBob's head. And it's interesting because then a lot of TV shows you relate to more when you get older. Kids shows you relate to more when you get older too. I feel like when you're a kid and you're little, it's like all just funny, and you just laugh and you giggle. Hold on, I'm gonna take a little sip for myself. I'm gonna take a second. You ever just like take those seconds and you just like look around, just embrace the world for a second. You enjoy things a little bit. Take a little deep breath. It's important to take seconds for yourself, to take some moments to just like, for yourself. Sit back a little quick. But yeah, that's how I've been feeling lately. I feel like my mind knows something big is coming. It knows that this is pedal to the metal time. Like things are going to get going next week. Like things are just going to be, it's exciting. I'm always excited. I'll say that I'm always excited about everything I do, but my mind knows that you can be excited, you can have fun, but we got to get a lot of things done. At the end of the day, you have to have fun within my means. So I can't be silly all the time. I would love to be silly all the time. Trust me, guys, I love being silly just as much as the next person. But a lot of things are going to have to get done, especially if I want to keep this up. A lot of things are going to need to get done. If I want to keep working out the way I'm working out, I'm having like 3 workouts a day, guys. I'm doing 3 workouts a day. And that's because I have so much time. So I'm running. I'm doing all these runs. I'm doing these calisthenic workouts. I'm doing a lot of boxing workouts. I'm doing a lot of my pull-up workouts, which is part of the calisthenics. And then I'm working on the podcast. And then I'm going to be doing my job. And then I'm going to have all these classes. I'm just going to have to follow a schedule. And you're going to have to follow the schedule. I'm not going to be able to just go get silly all the time. And when I say get silly, it's not just like, I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm going to go out and party, drink all this stuff. Like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. All right. There's time and place for that. And for me personally, I've been trying to kind of slow that down a lot. I feel like senior year, I'm starting to get to a point where I'm almost out. I'm about to graduate. And I want to have a good base. I want to have a good base by the time I get out of college. I feel like, I've built a lot of things for myself. I feel like I've put myself in a good position where I put myself in a situation I would never be close to being in if I never did anything. Like if I never did this podcast, mainly the podcast. If I never did this, I'd be in such a worse situation. I don't even know what degree I'd be going for. Probably something I didn't even want to do. And that's a crazy thing about. It's like how small this was for me. Because for a lot of people that don't know, I don't talk about this a lot. The reason why I started doing the podcast and making videos, stuff like that, is because talking was just really hard for me. Talking was always really hard for me, man. I was such an introvert, and it was bad. It was really bad. Like it wasn't even like, oh, it's just he doesn't like talking. It's like I couldn't. I couldn't talk. It wasn't possible, and that's why I started doing a podcast. That's why I started doing stuff during 2020, was because I wanted to get out of that. I wanted to become comfortable. I wanted to not feel like I was this kid that was just stuck in a shell all the time. Because that's how I felt. I felt like I was just in a shell and my mind was always wanting to get out. I feel like we all feel like that too. We all feel like we're someone who's just trying to get out of a shell. We feel like someone that's trapped, and I feel like a lot of people feel like that. I feel like we just like we're wanting to. We're always like, oh well, I can't wait to be out of this. I can't wait to get out of this situation. Well, I can't wait to get out of school. I can't wait to get out of this job. Or like, oh, I can't wait for 10 years from now. I can't wait till I can retire in 40 years. It's always like, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait till. I can't wait till. I can't wait till this. And something I actually heard recently, something I heard that I heard someone say that really stuck with me now is, when you give yourself, I'm trying to remember, I don't want to say this wrong. What he said was, when you say things like, oh, I'm going to do that in a year. Oh, in 2 years, I'm going to go pursue this. You are basically letting that idea die. That you are giving yourself a big range of time. You're giving yourself a big range of time because you are wanting an out to happen. That you are giving yourself time to find an out. Or in a lot of cases, the world will give you an out. And you're basically letting yourself take it. That you are not pursuing that now because a part of you is possibly afraid. You probably are afraid. And I feel like a lot of times that is the situation for us. A lot of times we are afraid to do something. I feel like we're always going to be afraid to do something, man. Like literally, like we're always going to be afraid to do things. I'm horrified of a lot of things. But for some reason, we got to do them. We got to do them. And I feel like that was someone said that. Yeah, but another thing I want to talk about is this something that does mean something to me. Lately I've been trying to cut out a lot of temptations in my life. A lot of things I feel like have wasted my time. Not only wasted time, but just like taking my mind to other places, and didn't do the best things for me in my life. And I'm a young guy, and I feel like, yeah, you could have fun, you could do all these things, but when you have so many things that changes your mind and like makes you think about other things, and it doesn't keep you on track, and you find yourself being like, dang, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Then it kind of becomes a problem, and sometimes you could sense when something's becoming a problem. And I feel like some things in my life I was able to see were becoming problems. And I feel like that's something for a lot of people. A lot of people see that they're doing things, and you could sense when something's becoming an issue. And you don't you always talk yourself out of it. You're always like, oh, well, it's not really an issue because I know, I could stop. I could stop now. You tell yourself that all the time. Everyone's always like, oh, it's not an issue. Like I could stop whenever. That's something I always hear. That's something I would say. It's like, oh, I could stop doing this whenever I want. Oh, well, it's been a while. I can do it. And it's like, nothing's ever really an issue until it becomes an issue. Nothing's an addiction until it becomes an addiction. Nothing is bad until it becomes bad. And that's why people are like, oh, where'd this come from? Dang, I didn't even know I had a problem. When a lot of times you do know, but it's like, you don't ever want to call something out until it's something that you have to call out. And that's how it is for a lot of us. A lot of us are really afraid to address stuff. We're afraid to address issues. And I can be like that too. I say we because I definitely fall in that category. I'm not trying to just like shame other people. I definitely fall in that category. I definitely am someone that a lot of times in my life I've fallen because I've didn't want to address things. I didn't want to go do these things until I absolutely had to. And when you absolutely have to do something, it's going to be so much harder to handle than when it's early on. Because when you address something early on, it's still small. It's still a small issue. It's still something that hasn't taken its toll. It still hasn't become that addiction. It still hasn't become that big gaping problem. It still hasn't become this big issue because you don't notice. You don't have to handle a big situation. You never have to do anything until that thing is massively impacting you. Because it's still a choice to do it. It's just not a big issue at the time. And I feel like a lot of times for us, we wait to the last minute, and that's where procrastination, I'm so dumb. We start procrastinating, procrastinating. We start procrastinating, I'm gonna cut that out. We wait till the last minute to do a lot of things. That's where the early on procrastination. I can't drink. As for a lot of us, we just wait to do things to the last minute. That causes so many issues for us. That causes so many situations for us. Because we feel like everyone just tells themselves, "I don't have the time right now. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I don't have the time." And someone told me that when you don't have the time and something needs to get done, that thing is going to make time. It's going to get in there. It's going to slide in there. Like a little weasel, like a groundhog, you have your perfect little plantation. You have your flowers, and that groundhog's going to come on in there. Because that's the problem. The groundhog's the problem. You saw the holes. You heard the rumors, but you didn't handle the situation. You didn't try to help someone else with that groundhog until that groundhog came up in your plants, until it killed your sunflower, until it's out there taking all your plants out. And that's when you decide to address the situation, when you could have solved this a long time ago. And I feel like that's something with a lot of us, But yeah, that's something I've been thinking about too, because I've had that problem for so many years. I've had that problem I had that problem all my life. I get nervous, I get scared. We all do. We all get nervous. We all get scared of things. We all are like, oh, I don't want to do this because I feel like this is going to create an issue right now. I could just wait till later. When you wait till later, it just grows. So yeah, that was just something I just want to talk about with y'all. I feel like, I'm able to have real conversations with y'all. We joke a lot. I'm always going to be joking. I love joking. But at the end of the day, there's times where we got to talk. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that these past few weeks, just like talking to people that I care about, talking to people I love. And, sometimes it's really important just to fall back and just hear what other people have to say. But yeah. Going forward, let's get talking about something else here. We got to have some fun, guys. Have some fun. You know what I found out? I found out a lot of, I don't know if all y'all knew this. Did you know that some older Halloween I don't know if y'all knew this, but older Halloween costumes were actually highly flammable. They were made with a lot of flammable materials, and that's actually crazy to hear. These issues were particularly prevalent in the mid 20th century. A lot of costumes are often constructed from cheap synthetic fabrics that could ignite easily from sources like jack-o'-lanterns, candles, and even static electricity. That's actually crazy to hear. That actually is wild. They were made from materials like rayon and acetate, and they were so highly flammable. I remember some old costumes I had where I was like, "Oh, there's no way this is safe." I was dressed as Batman, and I was like, "There's no way this is safe." I feel like I was being put in a dang chamber, man. Like some of those old costumes that they would sell, like at Walmart. I'd go hit that Walmart for those costumes back in the day. You know, I would dress good. I dress real good for Halloween. I get wild. Batman. I had the Hulk, Incredible Hulk. What y'all know about the Incredible Hulk, baby? First movie. I was a big fan of that movie. But yeah, costumes back then, you don't know what was going to happen. That's why in that one Michael Myers movie, when the cop car thought they saw Michael Myers rammed into him, and it was just a kid in a costume, that kid started catching on fire, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it was all about. You could stand on top of a tree, and I don't know. But yeah, those fires were wild back then, man. Costumes, everything was wild. Everything was crazy. I didn't know what was gonna happen. So you're telling me I could have been dressed as Batman, got on top of a, you know, I could have been dressed as Batman, stepped on a candle, and it would have been game over for me. Is what you're trying to say? Flammable costumes, bro. That's wild. That's wild. That a lot of people didn't check things back then. A lot of things did not check things. A lot of people just let things go. Things got crazy. I don't know when they made the switch though. I don't know. I haven't worn a costume in a while. Actually, you know what? That's not true. I dressed as a Terminator for a few years. There was a few years in high school that I dressed as a Terminator, and I thought it looked cool. I thought it looked so cool. I remember that. And there was this girl I was trying to impress, and I remember I took a little photo of myself, boom, posted it on my Instagram story, dressed as the Terminator. I'm gonna put this photo up for y'all right now. Don't judge me too hard, baby. Don't laugh at me too hard. But yeah, and man, that was a good one. That girl ended up not going with me. I don't think I made it. I don't think I was a finalist either. I think I made it pretty far in the competition, but you know, I didn't make the finals. I don't think I made the semifinals. I don't think I was a fan favorite, but yeah, I didn't. You know, me and that girl, we never became anything. I like to think it was one of those things that it was more of a one-sided. Maybe every now and then she would call me cute. Every now and then I get something like that, but that's all I really got from that girl. Just she would call me cute like once every 3 months, and that was my motivation to keep going. Pursue a little bit harder. But yeah, shout out to her. I'm not gonna say her name, but shout out to her. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. I'm rambling too long. I love talking to y'all. I think we had a great moment today. We had some great conversations today. At the end of the day, keep going. Next time I talk to y'all, I'll be a senior in college, baby. Good luck to all y'all starting school. Love you all. Go out there. Be great in school, guys. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. If it's your first day in high school, I want to give a little something for y'all quick. No matter what it is, if it's your first day in middle school, if it's your first day in high school, if it's your first day in college, if it's your first day in elementary, all y'all out there, go out there, talk to someone. Don't try to hide, guys. Don't be like, oh, I just need to get through today. Don't be like, oh, I just got to get through this year. Don't run from it, guys. Don't make it something that you hate. Don't make going to school every day something you hate. Don't make being in that class something you hate. Find something you enjoy about it. Find someone in there you like talking to. Find something about that topic that you enjoy. Just make something about that day good for you. Either it's just learning, either it's just talking to someone, seeing someone, make something about being there profitable to you. Don't just make it something you want to get out of. Enjoy it, guys. Go out there and enjoy that school day. Enjoy it. Don't be running from it. Get in that class with a smile. Because what they used to always say, what They used to always tell me, you walk in every day with a smile on your face and a twinkle in, with a smile on your face and a twinkle in your eye. Go out there, take that school by storm, guys. Enjoy yourselves. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy yourselves.
Burning memories till there's no